You can hear me and see me. If not, I'm sure you'll tell me. How's everybody doing? Let me look through here. Yes, I'm on my phone again instead of, it's just easier for me. Coy, Blake, Charlotte. Good to see you guys. Sweet Pea, Ruth, Kayla, Camping Mama. I think I already said Pamela, KB, Organized Confusion. So good to see you guys. I know it's been a busy day with lives, and we're not even halfway done yet, are we? Because I know that Charlotte's going to go live again when I'm done, and then I know Flava's going to go live again after Charlotte does. So, hey Donna, Kitten on the keys. How's everybody doing? Feel good? You good? Oh my gosh, all of a sudden I got this headache and I have this weird like twitching underneath my eye. Is that a bad thing? I don't know what it's from. So how's everybody doing? Yeah, I know. Earlier I was in Charlotte's and she was talking about everything with Michelle, and then my mom called, so I ended up talking to her for quite a bit. And hey Sally. And so I missed part of it, and then I was going back, and then I got caught up with something, and then Flava went live. And so, yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to talk about Michelle at all, but I mean, it looks like, we're going to talk about Katie Joy today. But because there's some things that I'm like, I want to talk about, and I was going to put in video and do all these things. And then it's like, it may be easier just to get on there and just chat about it, Hey, Dash X. When you stress, you know what? I think it's allergies, because I'm not tired. I'm not dehydrated, because I drink like 5 of these a day of water. Stress now, but I've had problems with my allergies. Like I can feel it. So maybe that's what it is. That's good to know. Thanks, Dash X. So yeah, we'll just chat about Michelle real quick, because I don't really want to put much time into that. But man, y'all. So answer me this. Here's my question. So I know that this, okay, so let's talk about her DUI. So what was filed, right? Yesterday was for her DUI that happened in February, I believe. She had 4 charges. It looks like 3 may or may not have been dismissed. Maybe one of the 3 was, but is it that the DUI is being moved to Superior Court, right? So that's going to be a felony. Yes, it's annoying. Oh my gosh, you had COVID, Sweet Pea. Am I not supposed to say that word? I could be overhydrated. I'm getting, if not getting enough electrolytes, I take electrolytes too. Like I'm actually pretty good about. I'm thinking because I can feel some like, just something in my head, So I'm guessing that the DUI is being moved to Superior Court, from my understanding. Those other charges might stick, maybe 1, or I don't know if all 3, but it looks like she has an arraignment coming up in December. And then she has her hearing with Etienne, and it's going to be a bad month for Michelle. It's going to be a bad month for Michelle. But crazy. That's just, I don't, and that's another thing is, so cough and congestion. Yeah, it is that time of year, isn't it, Sweet Pea? I'm just wondering, why does it take so long for these, like, I guess, is it specifically Georgia? I'm sure there's other states too. Like this particular DUI was February, and it's just now, we're just not even seeing like the bond conditions and stuff. It's kind of weird. And then the other one was exactly almost probably to the date a year ago, and that one took forever to be seen. It just seems like it takes a long time. Sweet Pea, I don't know if anything did get dropped. I mean, that's what I didn't get a chance to really look at everything very closely. I saw that there was an arraignment. That's about it. I know Charlotte had the documents, and I know that Flava did. So, I think it's kind of, I don't know if it's hard to determine or not. I haven't seen, but I'm thinking that maybe, because what were the charges? So it was DUI. It was simple assault and battery, I think, on the officer, and obstruction of the officer, and then concealing license plate or something. Because I think she said that apparently either it was covered up or she didn't have one. I think we all know that Michelle's story is probably not what the truth was. So, I don't know. So it seems like, it seems like 3 of those charges might have stuck. Maybe they got rid of one of the 3 misdemeanor charges. And it seems like maybe they might have moved the DUI to Superior Court. I don't know. I know Sweet Pea Talk was, I was watching, like I was saying, I was watching Charlotte, and then my mom called. So I spoke to her for quite a while, and then was going into Flavas. And then I'm like I'm like 3/4 of the way caught up. I did see the documents, but I didn't really read them. And did she have an open container on that one? I know she had an open container in the November one. The plate didn't match, false license, and she had her Georgia already revoked, and they gave them the Mississippi one, no headlight usage. I think I thought the no headlight, anyways, I don't know. Like, I know she had an open container, and the headlight thing was the one that happened in November, when she was in the rental car. And then the one in February is when she didn't blow real, it wasn't like a bad number, but they could tell that she was possibly under the influence of something else. I don't know. But anyways, nonetheless, it's going to be, the open container was in the rental one, not the truck one. But nonetheless, when you get that many, I guess they all just kind of fly together, don't they? So anyways, enough about Michelle. I think we've got enough talking about her today, and she'll probably go live and tell us her side, which is always good, right? Yeah, Zuna, Charlotte is usually on Rumble. Today she's going to go on, she's going to be on YouTube and Rumble starting at 4. And so, yeah. Okay, so the one thing I wanted to really talk about, she will go live and lie, says Charlotte. Speaking of the devil, you just popped up when I said your name. So the one thing that I really wanted to talk about, y'all, because it's been bothering me a bit, I'm not going to lie, it's been bothering me a lot of bit, okay, is the situation with Katie Joy Paulson and this restraining order that she filed against Veda. Then Veda, who's another creator, then Veda ultimately turned around and filed another one, filed her own on Katie Joy. And we've talked about this briefly. So basically the situation is this. I had done a video just kind of talking about, because when we found out about the restraining order and that Katie Joy had filed against Veda. And the thing about that was she filed this restraining order against Veda. And no one would have known the wiser, right? No one would have known. And hey, everybody coming in, good to see you. And so, no one really knew. So ultimately what happened was somebody had gone to the courthouse and was looking up, parts of the court case. I guess they went there to see if anything else was happening in the 7M case. And they came across and saw that there was a restraining order out that Katie Joy filed against Veda. And at the time it was temporary orders, right? And so nobody would have known about it, but somebody sent it to Balls, and when Balls got it, she put it up. And it was very interesting because if you read it, it is just saying horrific. And I've got some of it on my laptop here that I'll read in a bit, but it's just a horrific accusations. Okay. And again, she was trying to keep it quiet. So, but one of the interesting things there's a lot of interesting things about it. First of all, we were able to see that she was that Veda appeared to be a target in this, right? And so she had put this order out against her. And within the petition is what Balls put out. We were able to read what she had said. And it was all it was just horrible. But she brought up other creators. And then she also brought up Robert Shin a lot. And that's one of the things I'm like, it just sit wrong, right? So when you look at how she felt when she filled out the petition, okay, it says it gives you an option. Do you want there to be a hearing? And she said no. And I guess she assumed that because she said she didn't want to be there to be a hearing, that Veda had absolutely zero say so in any of this, even whenever she received it, right? And so ultimately when Veda was served and she said, yeah, you know, I don't know, there was a hearing scheduled. Katie Joy didn't show up to the first hearing, right? And I remember thinking when she didn't show up, I was like, when I heard she didn't show up, I was like, what? This judge didn't automatically just dismiss it. No, they rescheduled it. And it could be because Katie and her attorneys, or Katie actually really thought that they, you know, that there wasn't gonna be a hearing. She also thought, which blows my mind, y'all, that, I mean, this is true. She literally thought that Veda, that was just gonna get it. And that Veda had zero way to file anything against her. And so once that got out there and the petition was seen, 7M's attorney was able to see that and see that her client was listed in this petition, saying ultimately, you know, that, and this was said within a quote unquote email that Veda sent to Katie Joy. Okay, so this whole thing is about how Veda has been harassing and stalking her since May of 2023. And then, you know, there's emails, there's all these threatening emails and all this stuff, right? But she puts Robert Shin's name in there just randomly. So everybody was able to see kind of what was going on. And, you know, I know that it was tough on Veda because from what I heard, and I haven't watched all of her video yet, but because Katie Joy was saying that Veda handed it over to whoever. And that's not true. It was public record from the very beginning. And she does, Michelle. She thinks she's so clever. And I think that it's about to backfire on her. But she filed this. And then, and there was, and I've done this, put this clip in some of my, you know, one or two of my videos where Katie Joy is saying, oh, well, then she went and she filed a retaliatory TRO against me. And that is a direct violation of my restraining order against her. No, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like when she said that, about fell out of my chair. I was like, Zuna, can 7M use that in the KJ case? So can they use that in that? Yeah, I think so, because it's more defamation. You know, they're saying in there, and I don't know if I have that part in front of me, but basically, you know, what's interesting about this, and I don't know if I think I said this in my last video when I was talking about this petition. Katie Joy lists all these emails verbatim, but she doesn't give screenshots of the emails that would show who it was received by or whatever. She cut and pasted them in there. And so it's kind of weird when you're looking at it and it says like, it claims that this is an email from Veda to Katie Joy, and it says, you know, I was hired by Robert Shin, and, you know, basically those kind of things, saying that Robert Shin is employing her to do these horrible things, and with other creators as well. So once Veda received this, and they did have the hearing. She didn't show up for the first one. Katie Joy didn't. They had another hearing, and Veda had already filed, apparently, her restraining order against Katie as well. And the judge, whenever they saw it, they ordered a temporary. Katie didn't know. And so then there we go. From there, then they both had orders against each other. But this is what I want to talk about, is because we know all this, right? But what I want to talk about, what bothers me the most, number one, is that she's saying all these horrible things with her chest out, standing all 10 toes down, right? She's telling everybody. We have all the posts to prove it. We have the lives that she did, and she's pointing her finger indirectly because, I mean, she's saying, we all knew who she was referring to, but she never said Veda's name, right? So we all knew that she's saying she did these things. She did these things. And I'm sitting here, I did a video and I said, I know Katie knows that she didn't do these things. Maybe some of them, but I can guarantee not all. Why would Veda send these particular emails under her own name, right? It was just, you know. So then, as she's fighting through this and pissed off that Veda now has her own against her, now they're, you know, they were going to go to court in October, and then Katie's attorney was like, well, let's try to settle. And Veda's like, no, I'm not taking down any videos, and I'm not stopping talking about Katie Joy, apparently. And so they came back and they were like, tried another settle, and she's like, no. Cheryl, I think Katie would have sex with her husband before she'd apologize. She does hate men. She hates women too. Oh, she knew it wasn't Veda, but that's my whole point in this, Charlotte, is that she's saying all these things. She knows it's not. I mean, I can't say, okay, I assume she doesn't. I mean, she had to know, because she even says in the petition, she says, okay, this is another one. Let me see if I can find the other one. She even says, basically, and I'm trying to give it to you verbatim. Yeah, my internet is so slow. That's why I have to sit by the window, because I live in the country. Our Wi-Fi is satellite, or by this tower that's over there. So I have to sit by the window. Okay. Oh, shit. I need to move it over here. Hold on, y'all. I just wanted to give it to you verbatim. Oh, look at there. I had highlighted it and didn't even know. How do I increase? Okay. No, that's not even it. Okay. So, okay. By June 2024, Veda made good on her threats to create emails spoofed, in quotes, in my name, to send threats to me, others, my husband, and others. She created multiple fake email accounts. How do you prove that? Okay, so this is in her petition to the courts, requesting a restraining order against Veda, and she's listing all these emails, but then she's saying, but they were spoofed emails. And then it's in another part, she says, then she goes on to create yet another fake email. How can you, okay, Michelle, you watched Veda and Aaron's. Yeah, I haven't watched any of it. And listen, y'all, for those that might be confused, I don't talk to Veda. I've never spoken to Veda. She's never contacted me. She came in my chat the other day, and it was good to see her in there. I mean, she's not somebody that I communicate with, right? I don't even, I mean, the most we've probably done is like comment under something. So there's been people saying, oh, we must be working together. No, we're not. I've said before that I found Veda to just be different than how I did things, and it just wasn't necessarily my cup of tea time, and I just didn't watch her. But no big deal. I have so many other creators that I watch that, if I didn't watch her, I didn't watch her, so I didn't know what was going on with all this, really. But anyway, so we'll back to this. So Katie, so when it comes to this, I don't know anything directly from Veda, okay, other than what I've seen that she said in her lives, and then also just everything that I've read from here, okay. So she's basically saying in this document, all right, and let's just remind you that, y'all, I mean, she signed under penalty of perjury, and my eyes are so bad, so I can't see that small, but it doesn't really matter. This is where she signed, okay? This is where she signed, stating, yes, all of this is true. All of this is true and accurate. Under penalty of perjury, I'm stating all of this is true, right? So she lied to the courts, because in my opinion, she knew it wasn't. She needed an out at this time. Everything had happened with the 7M docuseries, everything. Let me get back to comments. And so she's saying all these things. Well, then this is what proves to me that she knows that this is false. What proves it is that she tried to settle out, and that didn't happen. And then she eventually just dismissed it. She dismissed it, y'all. Why? Because she needed it to go away. Why? Because mentioning Robert's name in there is the dumbest thing she could have done. But she was trying to be sneaky, I think, and like put his name in there. So whenever, because it's the same court that he's suing her in, and she just needed him to look like more of a villain, right? So to say that he is absolutely, that she is absolutely 100% responsible for all this, and that Robert Shin is behind it, she's lying, and she knows it. And so she dismissed it. And when it was dismissed, I'm sitting there going, holy cow, this is huge. This is huge. It's huge because to me, it admits guilt, that she's saying, okay, I can't go forward with this because I can't prove it, because it's not true. She was not expecting Veda to stand up for herself, file her own order against Katie, and then not back down until they just dropped it. Cheryl says Veda's a good exposer of crap, but she gets a lot of hate for it. Yeah, I mean, when you do that, when you do, you do. I mean, anybody that's going to try to expose anybody or do anything, period, no matter how good of a person or how shitty of a person you are, whatever your good intentions or bad intentions, if you're exposing things, you're going to get hate. I mean, and that goes for Katie Joy, right? I mean, look, she's exposing cults. She acts like she's dismantled cults. I'd like to know which cult you have dismantled, Katie Joy. Please let us know which cult you have personally dismantled. I mean, she acts like she's, done all these wonderful things with cult survivors and stuff, right? And she even says it in this petition, that she reports, because she's a reporter, that she reports on cults. And it's just, yeah, boom, proof she's not a journalist, right, Michelle? I mean, she exposes herself. I mean, that's the thing. And so then there's people that want to expose her, but nonetheless, right? Nonetheless, I mean, it's just, it's just the game we're all going to play here on YouTube, I guess, right? Like you're going to have, no matter how good of a person you are, or, you're going to have people that hate you. I see these creators. I'm like, how is someone going against them? I don't know. It is what it is. If Katie would have just stuck to doing all the videos that she does on YouTube, her channel does fine with that. Yeah, I mean, like Zoom says, like she'll think she had a hand in the sister wives leaving Cody. I'm sure she does think that she does, and the ones that did, and they all hate her. So, I mean, so here we are. She's making this petition to the court stating with like everything she has in her being that Veda has done all of these things. And there's horrific things in here. There's terrible things in here. It's like, I'm not saying that necessarily that Katie did this herself. There's no proof of that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying she knows that these emails didn't come from Veda. I know that. And to me, when she dismissed it, that's admitting that she knew that Veda was not behind any of this. And she needs this to go away. And hey, Flava, you talk about Katie Joy with us? I know that's not a topic you talk about over there, and rightfully so. But when it comes to this, yeah, y'all, it's ridiculous. She goes on and on about all the stuff that, okay, I just pulled up the same one, that quote unquote Veda did. And there's no proof of it, right? And she even says they're spoofed emails, they're fake emails. And she says here, and I know that she knows that this is not true, because I mean, how can you say this as a truthful statement, y'all? She has filed reports to the FBI, CPS, and the city of Hanover, the Attorney General of Minnesota, Wright County Sheriff's Department, and other agencies in an attempt to weaponize law enforcement against me. How can you say that with certainty? Like, she says, starting on June 14th of 2024 through present, Veda has filed no less than 20 false reports with various government agencies in an attempt to threaten, terrify, and frame me for crimes. How can you sit here and say for a fact, under penalty of perjury, that's something that Veda did? She knows she didn't. We all know, and I think it's going to come out even more clear soon, y'all, that she absolutely knows that Veda did not send those emails, did not make those calls, whatever. Okay. We also know through Veda herself that she's been cleared of all of that, right? She's been cleared by law enforcement of having any involvement in this. So Katie knows it's a lie. And according to Veda, and I can't prove this, all this is just, what she says versus what Katie says, which is Veda says that Katie Joy's attorney, whenever they started talking, she's like, yeah, he knew all this was fake. He knew that none of this was me, that these emails were faked, but not by me. So if her attorney knew it, Katie Joy knew it ultimately, right? So it's there's Katie. All I wanted to get across is that whenever Katie Joy dismissed this RO against Veda, I'm like, holy hell, can you, I mean, just how are you were just right there saying, okay, yeah, I'm full of shit. Everything I said, you know, and then she probably went and hid because it's like, holy crap. She honestly thought, because she actually said this, and I remember just laughing my ass off. She literally said, Veda filed a restraining order against me, and that is indirect. You know, like that's going, she can't do that. She can't do that. That's not legal. Who in their right mind? So that'd be like saying that 7M came and sued you, as they did, but they're just going to tell the judge, look, everything we're saying is true, right? So let's just squash it here, just sign off on it, and we win, right? Because what we're saying is true. Do you really think that you can make all these heinous accusations saying that, you know, saying that she sent emails that said she was going to RAPE your son? Okay. You're saying that. You wrote that, right? You actually wrote that, Katie Joy, because you cut and pasted it. I'm not saying you wrote the original email. That's not what I'm saying out loud. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you're making this petition and you're copying and pasting these emails. Why you're not screenshotting the emails, or, you know, like sending the email itself? No, she cut and pasted the body of the email, right? And hey, Lamb Chop, I'm really not even looking at chat, y'all. I'm sorry. I just saw that Lamb Chop says she's late to the party. That's all right. I'm glad you joined us. Better late than never. So, you know, say all these heinous things, and she's copying and pasting them. So she's submitting this, right? And she knows it's not accurate. And you're signing off on it. Just like in her, let me see what all I put on here. And here's another thing, like she says in her declaration, wait, okay, that's the wrong thing. As part of this litigation, I have agreed not to publish contact information for plaintiffs. I have not published contact information for plaintiffs. Okay. So she states that she's agreed to that. That's another thing that, you know, and I'm sure this will all come out, right? Come through whenever they're in, you know, whether this ends in summary judgment or whether this goes to trial. Okay. It will come out, right, that she doxed Miranda and James. She absolutely doxed Miranda and James. And it is an address is considered contact information. All right. Let me just put that out there. So anyone would say, oh, that's right. No, it's still doxing, but she put out her contact information, right, by putting out her address. So therefore, that's already something that she's done against the court order. I guess, you know, maybe, you know, they would file contempt, whatever. She's left and right just doing all this shit against it. But the biggest thing for me was the fact that she dismissed this RO. Listen, y'all, she did not think anybody was ever going to know about it. Nobody knew about it. And she put in there that she didn't want to have a hearing. And so she assumed that she was just going to get served with this. Veda was just going to have to take it. And then it all, you know, and then there it is. And then Veda can't speak about her again. So then Veda's quiet. And that's one less person that's going to talk about her or talk about this case or whatever it may be. And luckily in, you know, Minnesota, you know, Veda had a very fair playing field, and she was able to do what was legally right for her. She was able to say, whoa, I'm going to file my own because X, Y, and Z. And the judge saw merit in that and granted a temporary. So they both had temporaries. And then, let me go back to my comments. And then Katie Joy dismisses it. Hey, Chewy's mom. And so she dismissed it. And to me, when that happened, I'm sitting there going, okay, when's everybody gonna talk about this? When is this gonna happen? When is this gonna be like huge? Because it's huge, y'all. Because she sits there and says all the time, I won't settle. I won't. And if, you know, everything I say is accurate and truthful and everything I report on. And so you're going to submit this to the court and you're going to stand by it, but yet you're going to dismiss it. And you're just going to let it go. If somebody made any of those accusations towards anybody in my family, myself, anybody, I would not be letting it go. There's no way in hell. I don't care. No, I am not going to let that go. And Katie Joy is just going to go, okay, yeah, we're just going to dismiss it. It's because she knows she lied. Hey, Misty, good to see you. She knows she lied, and she signed off on it. And that's what I'm like, okay, so, clearly she has lied to the court of law. Also in her, like I said, in the lawsuit, she's just left and right, y'all. Like, I just can't wait for this to come to a close, but we have to wait till January 6th to find out. Well, we won't even know anything in January, probably, because the hearing's in January. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what y'all's thoughts are on it. How does she get away with this crap? That's what gets me. It's like, it's going to catch up with her. And I think it is catching up with her right now as we speak. But these are just some of the shady shit, some of the shady things that she does. I mean, think about this. She filed this against Beta thinking nobody was ever going to see it. She really thought that it was sealed. So Zuna wants to know, do we think, and do we think the 7M will go to trial? What are your thoughts? If you think it's going to end in summary judgment, put 1 in the chat. If you think it's going to, the judge is not going to make a decision through summary judgment and it's going to go to trial, put a 2. I'm just curious. 1, if it's going to end in summary judgment, or 2, well, that's the same. No, summary judgment or trial. I'm stuck on it because I do think, no, they're not going to settle. There's not going to be any settling. Trial, restraint, summary judgment, trial. Hey, Tea Party. Oh, thank you for saying that. Okay, so we're taking a little toll right here, Tea Party, to see if we think this is going to go to trial or if it's going to end in summary judgment. And a lot of people were saying trial. You're the black. Listen, I think, I'm still 50-50. So it's 1 or 2 for me. And let me explain why. When it comes to the summary judgment, I think from what we've seen, how the judges ruled certain things, that at the first, okay, and keep in mind too, remember this, there was an original judge on this case, right? And so whenever 7M filed, default judgment saying, okay, Katie Joy never filed an answer, and then they filed, a motion for a restraining order on discovery, which they were granted in part. They filed a motion for injunctive relief, which the judge denied, which most judges aren't going to, tell someone they cannot speak at all, right? And that's kind of what this was about. And so that's when Katie said that the courts declared her as a journalist, because the judge said, I cannot grant this injunctive relief. I can't tell you to stop talking. That takes away your rights. Then Katie was like, see, I'm a journalist. All right. That was a separate judge. That was the initial judge. And I'm not saying because another judge came on that they're going to disagree with what the other one said or change what the other one said. That's not it. But those rulings were February of 2023. In March of 2023, there was a change of judge. So then kind of had to go back through everything again. They had a hearing, and then they had issues with discovery forever. And the issue with discovery was not even settled until January of 2024. So they filed it. Both parties filed a motion to compel. They had their issues with everything through discovery. They were having issues with, and then there was a hearing in October or November. It was in November. They submitted everything in October. It was a hearing in November, and the judge ruled on it in January. And that's when the judge said, Katie Joy, this court has not deemed you a journalist, and you're not exempt from providing discovery. So you need to just follow the law. Okay. And so that this judge seems to have a little bit of a different tune, in my opinion. So I could see that it could possibly end in summary judgment, depending upon what 7M has. And Katie Joy throws everything out there. We know what her defense is. We know what she's going to try to say, right? When it comes to 7M, we don't know. We don't know. We see everything Katie's done. We see also that she is defaming this man that is suing her in the same courts. She's defaming this man in a freaking restraining order petition, bringing up his name. Why? Okay, that's defamation right there in itself. She's accusing him of hiring all of the creators, including Veda, to do all these horrible things to Katie Joy. I know. A judge really can't gag order her. There really can't be at this point. The judge said, I cannot take away her freedom of speech. And Katie, and then there's times where they might be like, oh God, because after that, Katie just went wild. And then after the docuseries came out and Katie Joy is absolutely convinced that she has this in the bag, she's convinced that this, vindicated her. And she's like, okay, see, look, this whole Netflix did a whole thing, a whole one-sided bullshit story. I'm not saying it's all bullshit. I think there are some victims in this case, right? Possibly, whatever level. Okay, fine. It's a docuseries. Netflix did it. Great, fantastic. It's out there. That's their work. Okay. Do you think a judge is going to sit down and watch that on a Saturday night and be like, oh, that's my case. Oh, case closed. That's it. No, because it doesn't have any of the facts that 7M needs to present, right? It's a documentary that states one party's side of it. And another thing that just pisses me off too, that gets me the most, is that Katie Joy's like, oh, we told them about it. They had every opportunity to come in and be a part of it. You're in current litigation with them. Why would a party who is suing you then go join a docuseries with you, right? Makes zero sense. So, there's this whole narrative that's out there, loud and clear, because Katie Joy, some others, not as loud, but then you've got the Netflix docuseries, right? So this whole narrative is out there, and Miranda's still getting kicked in the teeth for no damn reason, right? James and Miranda are still getting kicked in the teeth. But then you have to keep in mind, there's a whole separate side, two sides to every story. And we don't know what all. Yes, Lulu B. I think that's going to be an issue. I'll touch on that in just a second. So let me put that up there, because me and my jump all over the place. And then there's their whole side that's just not out there, right? So my point being that when summary judgment comes around, that's when we're going to see all this from 7M. What do you have? What do you have against Katie that can prove your case, that you're telling the judge today, just in this year, there's no need to go to trial? What is it that you're going to be able to present, that you're going to be able to convince the judge through all your evidence that this doesn't need to go to trial? We have, this is enough evidence right here to prove that we are solid in our case. Katie Joy says she has, her defense is that, because Miranda and James lied under oath. Okay, who's lying? Who's lying under oath, bitch? It's you. Okay, number one. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But your question was, do you think, what about trying to imprison Shin? What do you think the judge will think about that? It depends if they bring it up, but if they do, there's so much of evidence of her saying contact LA, over and over and over and over again, posts, stories on her Instagram, and then also within her lives, contact LAPD, contact LA Sheriff's Department, contact LADA. Like, you've got to get this guy arrested. He needs to go to jail. And, it's very clear she needs him to go to jail, because she thinks if he goes to jail, her case will go away. But all she's doing is making it worse for herself. Since that docuseries came out, the things she did, she doxed Miranda and James, which, number one, is illegal in both of their states, okay? It absolutely goes against her, the court order. I'm sorry, not the court order, the lawsuit. And in her declaration, she states, I know that I've agreed to not releasing any contact information of the plaintiffs. And as we saw a little bit ago, yes, your address is contact information. So Katie Joy, you absolutely have, right? I would think by doing everything she's doing, trying to get law enforcement, and she's telling people do this, do that, get involved with law enforcement, call them. He needs to go to jail. Harassment and slander, because you're slandering his character, saying that he's a rapist and all this stuff, right? Loopy. And I'm sure they're just, look, I mean, they have a job to do, y'all. And think about how, LA County Sheriff's Department and their local police departments there, they have to be some of the busiest, right? Okay. And now Katie Joy is going to encourage people to just go, and it's nuts. That alone in itself. And I kept saying that. I was like, this is going to come back and bite the ass. I personally think it will, but I don't know. We can never say what a judge is going to think or say, and how it pertains to this lawsuit, how it pertains to stay within the guidelines, within the law of Minnesota, how it applies to the lawsuit, right? I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking the judge is going to go, you're a complete piece of shit, but they can't say that, and they can't apply it unless it applies. And is 7M going to bring that up? And that's why I was so excited to, hey, SD, love Louie, good to see you. Love Louie. And I know, and Katie Joy absolutely is the queen of them all. I'm thinking, and I'm not going to say too much, but there is more that's happening behind the scenes. And I think that this might be a time that we're finally going to see, her be held accountable for something, but then you stop the lawsuit as well. But she's just doing all these things. Like I said, I mean, how do you sit there and write this petition to the court knowing that what you're saying is not truthful? Veda did not do all of these things. Yes, Kayla Kitty. KJ's actions after the Netflix series was so manic and unhinged. It was disgusting. It was. And I said it in another video from, I forget what it was. It was like within a month period. How long was it? She did 110 posts on Instagram that were actually but she deleted like 5. So like 105 posts that she did within a month. It might have been 3 weeks or something crazy. 105 posts. Okay. And that included like the TikTok little short videos. What it didn't, and then in the storyline, the Instagram stories that go and disappear, hundreds. I have it all. I mean, we all do, right? KJ went all, she did, trying to get him arrested, and it didn't work. It's so far. And here's the thing. And I never said this before because I didn't want to victim shame, but I knew exactly what, she was saying was submitted to the police department. And if, and there's a reason why he wasn't arrested for that. There's so much, y'all. It's just, hey, just keep it real. Oh yeah. If you're not following Katie Joy, there was a docuseries that was put out regarding 7M, and it's called 7M, the TikTok cult. Katie Joy has been covering 7M. That's pretty much what I talk about the most, is the lawsuit between 7M and Katie Joy. Around the time that they sued Katie Joy, she was also in cahoots with a production company that eventually signed on with Netflix and did a Netflix docuseries regarding 7M and the dancers. And it kind of initially starts out kind of showing that they think Miranda's family, Miranda Derrick and James Derrick, are two dancers in this group, that Miranda's family is thinking that she's locked in a cult. And then Katie just went crazy with it. And it's, since I've been talking about it for so long, since right when she was sued, before she was sued, I've been talking about it. I've been talking about the lawsuit since day one, because y'all, the lawsuit is available on Minnesota website. It is available. There's only been a few documents that Katie Joy had sealed, and that was in October of 2023. She filed her motion to compel, and she had hers sealed for whatever reason. She didn't want people to see her motion to compel. But that's another question I'll ask y'all in a bit. Like, if y'all want to see what Katie Joy was requesting in discovery, and what was really not granted to her in the order that came out in January. Even though she did not, since she kind of had it sealed or whatever, when it was filed, she still had an original one. So we know exactly what her discovery requests were, you know, like interrogatories and requests for documents. She has painted herself into a corner, and more things than one. You know, what does it say? I can't really look at. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just looking through here. See, and I think that's it, Tea Party. I think the laws haven't caught up with what's happening on social media and how to really act in this. And I think that was kind of the situation. That's why, like with defamation and everything, it was so tough. And listen, defamation cases, as we know, are very tough, right? I mean, the chances of Katie winning this are still there. I mean, they're high. I mean, we don't know, right? I think Katie had a very good chance until after the docuseries came out. And then she started up again and started defaming him again and saying all these things. Just because Netflix docuseries says it happened doesn't mean it happened. But she doesn't just keep it there. She goes beyond, right? She says things that are even worse and that aren't even in relation. So, yeah, I think it's hard I think eventually they will catch up, and then we'll start to see laws that, you know, can help in these types of situations. But the good thing is, you know, they're in this lawsuit. I think it's strong for 7M in a lot of ways. Again, we don't know. So in summary judgment, once they file, we should be able to see what they're stating is their reason for winning, why they should be granted this, why they should win this case without having to go to trial. Katie Joy is just saying it's because, you know, she knows that everybody lied under oath. But I find that very hard to believe. Yeah, that's another thing. So Katie Joy says that when she was talking to the police department, sheriff's department, whichever one, she says, you know, that they said, well, we have to have 3 complaints before we'll arrest anybody, like 3 sexual complaints, like before we'll arrest them for being a sexual predator. And I just, and as Jill B just said, police or DA don't put out a quota of complaints to arrest someone, right? I mean, if you commit a crime, you commit a crime, and that will be investigated. And, you know, again, like somebody said earlier, I think she's painting herself into a corner, you know, and the question remains, does Katie have anything to do with all so, you know, after the docuseries came out, Katie Joy all of a sudden was, you know, getting these emails. But what she fails to say is that Miranda and James were getting threatening email. Well, she did mention this because she had to turn around. When Miranda said she was being threatened, Katie had to turn around and be a bigger victim and say, but I'm being threatened. I'm being threatened. But she fails to mention that there are creators out there who were getting the same emails and everything, you know. And so is Katie behind all that? Did she feel like she wasn't getting enough, enough credibility in this docuseries? Was she mad that she didn't get all of this fame that she thought she was going to get from this docuseries? And did she want to get more attention to herself? Is Katie behind it? I don't know. I'm not going to say, but somebody knows, right? They're doing investigations. They've investigated. One thing we do know is Veda's not behind it. That's the one thing that's come out of it so far. Veda's not behind this. And again, I'm not sitting here sticking up for Veda as a person, as somebody that I know. I don't know Veda, right? I don't speak to Veda, never spoken to Veda. I'm sticking up for somebody who was accused of heinous things, somebody trying to ruin her life on false accusations, and it could have happened. And luckily, the state of Minnesota and the attorneys that were involved, they did not allow that to happen. And Katie Joy might have been forced in some ways. She was forced by the fact that none of this was true. She was forced by that there were no facts, but she was, ultimately in some way forced to have to dismiss this RO against Veda, which she was so adamant Veda was absolutely behind it. So it's It blows my mind that she thought she was going to get away with shutting somebody down and having them stop talking. And then that didn't happen. And now here we are. You're right, Lullaby. She's so jealous of Miranda. And you could see that from the very beginning. You could see that from the very, very, very beginning. And that's another thing. I think she was jealous of Miranda at first. And then I think when she was trying to convince Miranda that that she knows, right? Like, you're in a cult. You don't understand. Katie, I'm Katie Joy, and I am the queen of know-it-all cult. I'm a cult expert. I know everything about cults, and you are stuck in a cult. And then whenever Miranda started to be like, no, I'm not, then the hate kind of started to build up. So I think it started with jealousy, and now it's definitely, she hates Miranda. I don't care what she says. I mean, if you watch any of my past videos, she's put Miranda in such horrible, threatening, dangerous situations. She has. She targets Miranda all of the time. Miranda is her constant target, but she's supposed to be, standing up for these victims. Yet you're victimizing the victims all the time. Wonder who KJ will blame it on next. I don't know. Because when you think about it, she's trying to say, and this is another thing, she'll say as loud as she can to all the people that come in, from this docuseries that don't really know Katie's past. And she'll say, if you see all these accounts going against me, it's because Robert Shin is hiring them and Robert Shin is behind it. If you see all these creators talking about me, if you see any videos about me, just ignore it because they're behind it with Robert Shin. No, we were all here way before. I'm probably one of the newer ones as far as like covering Katie Joy like that. But I was definitely here before 7M Suitor. Was definitely talking about before then. And all these other creators have been around for years. Okay, so there's been videos and talk about Katie for years. Robert Shin has nothing to do with this. No, Robert Shin absolutely has no reason why I dislike Katie Joy. She is so vile, -X. Everything about her is just vile. Donna, with everything she's done to people and have gotten away with it, I'm not feeling good that she will get her dues. I do. It's never going to come soon enough, right? And then we can say, oh, karma will get you. But, everybody can define karma in different ways. Like, what is it? I mean, I can assure you right now that Katie Joy is a miserable person. I mean, is that bad enough for some people? Probably not, But, I mean, I do think she's going to be held accountable for some things. Now, if she loses this lawsuit, so what? Okay, what does it do? Is she going to lose her channel? No, more likely not. I don't see that happening. Is she going to lose? I mean, she's just going to blame somebody for it, right? So, but what's going to do? It's going to put her in a bad financial situation, and she's just going to be even more miserable in her life, right? I know, Kayla Kitty, it breaks my heart. See, and that's the thing, and you can tell, and I think that's a lot of 7M's defense here. Is if you've noticed, and this is all speculation on my part, okay, y'all. So just listen to what I have to say. If you look at the stuff that Miranda was receiving, all the horrible comments and stuff, she kept them up, right? She never deleted. She didn't block. Just recently, she started to block people and delete hateful comments. What I could tell when I would see those, it's all the narrative that Katie Joy has really put out there about Miranda. So when you see these comments, it's like, no, Katie Joy says that that's what this is, but it's not. And just, just horrible comments to Miranda when she's supposed to be a victim. Okay, let's say she is a victim. I'm not saying this, but let's say she's a victim in this cult. If she truly is stuck and trapped in there and she's a victim and her life is in danger, why the hell are people going in there and calling her names, saying you need to leave, you're stupid, you're an idiot, you're blind, how are you still in there, how can you not see? Is that how you treat a victim that's stuck in a cult? Is that how we treat, hey Veda, is that how we treat people that are in a cult? Hell no. And so I'm thinking, again, speculation on my part here, is that when she wasn't blocking and deleting comments initially, I think it was helping them prove that there is a pattern here, and that this pattern also shows a lot of Katie Joy's narrative, right? Now she's kind of moved past that. She's, if you notice now, depositions are done, discovery is done. And then now all of a sudden she's able to live her life a bit more. And she has been deleting comments and blocking people better. And she always comes on with a smile. She's always pleasant. She does not insult people. She does not put people down. She is just the sweetest soul, and she's been treated like shit. Zuna, I'm guessing they could, if 7M wins lawsuit, can they stipulate that she loses her social media or some of it? I don't, I'll be honest, as far as like what the judge would say about that, what restrictions they'd put. Pro Charlotte Luke, what are you doing in here? I love you, my friend. I miss you. I was wondering if you were ever going to make it to my live. And Flava, see, look, right back to back. I saw Flava in here earlier. Yes. And this is it, y'all. This is why we need Luke in our community, because he reminds us every single day, Katie Joy is a trash bag. I'm glad you got my live too. One of my videos I did recently, I don't know, when he heard boom, that's Pro Charlotte Luke. That is his favorite spoon. Did you ever see that video, Luke? I did. I used your booms. I sure did. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it's she's going to need to show her true numbers. Listen, I'm telling you, there's a lot that, like we said, in every lawsuit, y'all, there's always gonna be something we don't know. We just don't know. And I was excited to be able to see on November 26th, but then they moved it to January. And again, the reason why they moved the hearing to January is because 7M finished their depositions later than Katie Joy did. And so then they obviously requested a summary judgment hearing. And so, to be fair, it was moved out to January. I don't know which one it's. I don't even know what it's labeled. Pro Charlotte Luke. I don't know, but I even gave you credit in the very beginning and said that you were making an appearance on the video. I'll let you know I'll look it up and see which one it is. I tagged you on it, you goofball. I even tagged you. Hey, Lisa. So Dash X, yeah, she made it. She said, I saw firsthand the depositions of Miranda and James Derrick, and they lied under oath. And I can say firsthand or secondhand, whatever y'all want to believe, that Amber Stavig said no, and that was not permitted to be discussed. Yeah, I worry about the mental health. I have to say, I think honestly, I think Dash, B Dash, and Miranda, I know they come across as being strong. Obviously, this has to affect them, but I do think they'll make it through, and I think they're going to come out stronger. And I think they're going to be the ones that are going to be setting an example for people years down the road. I do. I believe it, because they have integrity. They have integrity. They're good people. Whether 7M is a cult or not, okay, and they're caught up in it, their beliefs are still, they still believe in the good, right? They're not necessarily in there doing horrible things just because they might be in a cult, which I personally don't believe it is. But let's just say that they're in a cult. That doesn't mean that they're following his beliefs and all the horrible things he's doing. It just means that they're innocent, they're trapped, they're brainwashed, right? So why are we treating an innocent, trapped, brainwashed person the way that Katie Joy treats them, the way that people are going into Miranda's comments and saying things? Hey, any mods in here? Can you please post Charlotte's YouTube channel on here for her? She'll be going live in 30 minutes. So Veda says, I told Amber, please, whatever you do, don't let Katie settle. Take her. Oh, they won't settle. I'll tell you that right now, Veda. And I've been saying this from the very beginning, and I have very solid reasons for saying this, that settling 7M will never settle. Robert Shen will not settle with Katie Joy. I mean, if it did, I would literally be waiting for pigs to fly past my window here. I honestly, never say never. I'm not, I can't say for a fact, but Robert, it should not happen. Okay. So yeah, and I'm glad you told her that, because I'm sure Robert feels the same way, right? See, that's another thing. So one, and I do need to do a video on this or just go live and discuss it. That when it comes to the church, Shekinah Church and 7M, they're separate entities. Okay. And Katie Joy is calling Shekinah a church, I mean, a cult. Shekinah is a church. She's calling Shekinah a cult, right? Um, but 7M is the one suing her. So there's a lot of issues there with, like Katie Joy says, well, they lied in their depositions and they said that they're not members of Shekinah Church. I have a hard time believing that they lied, okay, under oath. Very hard time believing that. And but I firmly believe that Katie misunderstood what was happening in depositions. I don't think she understands depositions. I mean, hell, she didn't even understand that when Veda filed a restraining order against her in response to Katie's, Katie Joy thought it was a violation of her restraining order against Veda. Like, how can you have such a weak concept of the law or reality or just how life in general works? Like, are you serious? You filed an order against her saying the most heinous, accusing her of these most heinous things. And you think that that just shuts down right there because Katie Joy said it. Everything I said is true. Just stop it. You know what I mean? And so that's just how her brain works. Like oh y'all, she makes me sick. But I see now I lost my train of thought because I got all flustered over that. It pisses me off. What were we saying? Oh yeah, the separation. So so she's saying, they lied about that in their deposition. Okay, again, like I'm saying here, Katie, you lied under oath. You lied, penalty perjury. Sitting there saying in this freaking petition, right? We know, okay, it's a lie. You lied. That's my belief. I believe that. I firmly believe that. And so, but she's saying that they lied about Shekinah Church, but Shekinah's not really, it's 7M that's suing her. And the next part in this is that if you go back, and this is what I need to do, is go back through when it came to both parties filed a motion to compel. Like I said, October 2023, the judge ruled on it in January 2024. That's when the judge said, no, Katie Joy, this court never deemed you a journalist, right? And they granted every outstanding discovery, request for document, and everything that 7M put in their motion, the judge granted. Okay. And saying, yes, Katie, you have to answer all of these. And then hers was granted in part, and some of hers were not allowed in. And I don't know if we've ever discussed that. I don't think I've put that in a video. I did a really long video in January talking about, the discovery or whatnot. And then when I deleted my channel, that one went down with it, which was pretty shitty. But nonetheless, point being, within discovery, right? What you'll see, and I'll do a video. We'll go live and talk about this. What you'll see is in discovery, Katie Joy initially is saying everything Shekinah. She wants Shekinah's bank records. She wants Shekinah's tax records. She wants Shekinah's everything, right? She wants to know about this affiliation with Shekinah. She wants to know this about Shekinah. And then whenever we get further down the road, you'll see that there's nothing about Shekinah. And whenever I saw what they answered and what they, what the judge ruled on in this order in January, had nothing to do with Shekinah. So somewhere along the way, it is my belief, and I'll show you why. I'll try to make it make sense. But somewhere along the way, in my opinion, both parties or something was said where, okay, look, Shekinah is not suing you. Shekinah is not a party in this. And so you could start to see where Shekinah is being left out. It's very clear. It's very clear if you look at it as close. I've read every single filing in this thing at least twice. And so Katie Joy is banking on that they're the same, the entities are connected, but they're not. And she might have a strong argument. That, you know, we never know what the judge is going to say. The judge might go, yeah, well, I mean, he's the CEO of this. He's the owner of this. They collaborate. Yep, they're connected. We never know what the judge is going to say. I'm just saying that what I've seen is when Katie was requesting certain things regarding Shekinah towards the end, those requests weren't even there. So they were removed at some point, more than likely, if that makes sense. How do others lose a channel? Would she have to go to another platform? Yeah, she would. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if she'd lose her platform because, I mean, I guess by law she'd be ordered to not have social media. I don't see that really happening. But it would have to be YouTube that would take her down. And then if YouTube took her down, then she couldn't come back on YouTube because she'd be ban evading. So yeah, she's always violating 2S. But when you're bringing as much money to YouTube as Katie is, I guess they overlook it, right? So I haven't been reading chat because I get so distracted, as y'all know. She'll be. I think if we all look back, if this doesn't get summary judgment and things get spicy, she will drop a video of her crying and blaming Miranda, James, and Shin for stealing money. Oh, absolutely. And she'll turn on the Wilkins too. You watch, just like she turns on everybody else. Right now, they're in each other's back pocket for whatever reason. They seem to still support Katie Joy, which blows my ever loving mind. Like, I just don't get it. But she'll turn on the Wilkins if it, you know, we'll see. Depends where it goes. The separation of church and dance state was ignored by Katie. Katie Joy. Katie Joy ignores everything. Anything that the judge can look her straight in the eye and say, you know, you know, this and this and this, and Katie's going to go, no, no, and no. It just, she don't care. She's above the law, y'all. Yeah, as far as shutting down any of her social media stuff, it's going to have to be from those platforms taking her off their platform. Goes along with the suit was never filed. If you got it from the cult. Man, that aged like sour milk. It's hilarious though. So I guess it's better than sour milk because that shit's funny. That clip when she was like, if you got to copy this, you got it from the cult. Sound everybody, you know, everybody's in bed with Robert Shin. And she would say literally, probably, y'all. But, you know, point being is that, you know, yeah, Michelle, you know, I have, you know, that's one thing I try to stay away from talking about, at least on my channel, about the Wilkins, you know, how I feel about how all that went down. But yeah, they were okay with Melanie getting married and moving out. Miranda's sister isn't a fan of KJ. She said in an Instagram comment that everything got worse when KJ got involved. I don't think, I love that name, Home Perm. I don't know if I've seen that, but I do know that Melanie, it wasn't Melanie Wilking, and I don't know what her married name is, so I apologize to Melanie for that. But it was Melanie Lee that said that. And Melanie Lee is, okay, so Melanie Lee had, how do I say this? Like, she had a lot of involvement with Robert Shin, you know, as friends, family, etc., whatever, early on. She was in the church. She left. She tried to sue Robert Shin, or she sent him a demand letter saying, you know, once all this kind of came out with Katie Joy and everything, saying that if I were to sue you, it'd be X, Y, and Z. So she sent a demand letter saying, Robert Shin, you owe me $25 million. And then his wife owed her $5 million because if she was going to go to court, jury would definitely settle for more than that. So we're going to give you the great deal of total of $30 million. And then Robert Shin said, no, that's not how this is going to go down. And so he turned around and sued them. He was already in litigation with Katie Joy, and he turned around and sued Melanie Lee and her sister, and then 3 bloggers. One that has settled out, but the 2 that are still being sued by him are Exposing 7M and Stop Culting. Right. So we had, then that's what started the LA lawsuit. What started the LA lawsuit in California is that Melanie Lee not Melanie Wilking, but Melanie Lee sent a demand letter saying that you did X, Y, and Z, because all this came out. And then she's a big part in the 7M docuseries. And so another creator on here sent a message to, or there was, maybe it was a comment or something that Melanie Lee had posted. And she was like, did you enjoy work? Whatever it was, and she was like, no, Katie Joy made it worse. So Melanie Lee, who is a self-proclaimed victim, she says she's a victim of Robert Shin, right? And she's part of the docuseries as well. She worked alongside Katie Joy in the docuseries, and apparently it did not go well. They did not like working with Katie. So I don't know if Melanie Wilking has said that, but I do know that Melanie Lee has. And like I said, she's also in litigation with Robert Shin in LA, and that is why that lawsuit started. And then once that lawsuit was going on, there were 5 parties that were being sued. Then, there were 5 defendants. One settled, which was Colt's Yuck, which was an Instagram that covered them as well. They settled out. And so now it's the 2 sisters exposing 7M and stop colting. And so then from there is when it shot off. And then you had the cross complaint. And then you had these dancers come in and file suit against Robert under the same lawsuit. Yeah, that's above my pay grade. You could tell she doesn't nobody likes working with Katie Joy. Nobody. And what's interesting is the 2, the 3 bloggers that were in the lawsuit before the one settled, there was 3. They communicated with Katie Joy. And when the 3rd one settled out, she handed over a lot of the DMs between them. And they're available. I mean, listen, I paid for, back when this came out, I paid for pretty much every filing that was in that lawsuit. Once the cross complaint came, it became so overwhelming and so much that I kind of skipped. But I've read a lot of that lawsuit too. And so when that blogger ex-nate out, was like, nope, I don't want this. She settled. She handed over DMs. And so because of that, there was actually an anti-SLAPP that one of them had filed, and it was granted. But once they came up with this new evidence, they appealed it. And then the judge went back and changed some of it, and then did not change all of it, but basically granted some and denied some because of this new evidence that came out. So anyways, there's that. Hey, Dream Colored. I'm about to get off, but so glad you're here. So glad you're here. Hey, Tamron Hall. Aw, Tamron loves us all. She love is all. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your super chat. Appreciate you. No one likes working with KJ because she's a trash bag. Yeah, she's terrible, man. Like, if you were watching her recently when she was on TikTok, when she was covering Gypsy Rose, and people would come up on her in the box, come up on panel and whatnot. She was so terrible to people. Just awful. Like, you could see exactly who she is, man. And it's like, you could see where she would collaborate with somebody for a little bit, and then we're all sitting there going, okay, we're making bets behind the scenes. Like, how long until this person turns on her, or till she turns on them, whatever it may be. And it was always like a week, if that. She pisses everybody off. Thank you, Dream Colored. Yeah, we're just talking about how, with Katie Joy, just how she, lying to the courts, doing all that good shit. She's just, God, man. I know, right? I mean, what am I saying? What am I saying? Look, what am I saying? God, so not like her. I mean, that was all new behavior. When she went on TikTok, we're all like, who is this woman? She's horrible. Who is this? Yeah, she showed who she really is. Totally. So when she's on YouTube, she actually, that's where, like, some people, like I said, I said this on my streams before, people will come in and be like, why are you so hateful on Katie? And I'm like, you only on her YouTube, aren't you? Oh my goodness, Jill B. Thank you. You know, I'm glad to be back. There's some things that you know, life is busy, but usually this time, well, next week's going to be super busy because I host Thanksgiving. Holy crap, y'all! I'll tell you a story real quick too before I jump off. But love when you go live. Thank you, Jill B. Thank you so much for your cash app. You in Canada? I appreciate you so much. I made a watercolor cartoon of her. Can I send it to you? Absolutely, Dreamcolor. I don't, you know, I don't put my email out. I need to reconsider that. You can always send me a DM. You can send me, you know, leave a comment on any of my stuff. You can send me a DM on Instagram if you're in Charlotte, if you're in any Discord, and we can figure that out. I know. And I'm telling you, like, if Katie Joy just stuck to YouTube, I mean, that's where she makes all of her money. Why venture off and do all this stupid shit? She makes so much money, but guess what? It all goes straight now. It's all going to her being sued because she ventured out of that money making niche. And that's why I try to tell people, like, yeah, she's good on YouTube. She's okay. Now, when she started this stuff with Garrison Brown, that upset a lot of people. And I think a lot of people started to see who she was because, you know, that happens, you know, here she's been able to keep this cover up for so long. But I mean, she'd go live on Instagram, forever and she would just show her ass there. But a lot of people, yeah, they don't cross over. She likes to try. I know. I kept making every time she'd go on TikTok and she'd have the, you know, there's people in her box. I'm like, oh, she's up there with a bunch of kindergartners. Yay. Like, all right. What? Come on. And she'd always like, I'm almost 50. And they're like, oh my God, that's so old. And I'm like, yeah, I remember when 50 was old. I just turned 50 last month. What the hell? I don't even know how that, it's like, where did that even come from? You know, Katie's like creeping up on 50 and hanging out. I mean, there's nothing wrong. I mean, like, look, Luke in here, it could be my son. He's old enough to be my son. Aren't you, Luke, if you're still in here? I know some young people in here, and I appreciate it. And I mean, everything. But when they were on her panel, it was just wild because it was just like the things that they'd say just didn't mesh with what she was trying to put across. I don't know. It just. See? You know, it's kind of like I'm having to let it like just set for a little bit. K9 Charlie, it's about time to feed the goats. I'm surprised I'm not, well, I don't have it turned to where you can see because the sun is so bright. And like I said, people always like, I have to sit by this window because my Wi-Fi is so wonky. We're not, you know, we're so far out here that we don't have like wired. Ours is satellite and by the tower. And so I have to sit by the window. And if I sit in front of the window, then, you know, all the lighting is behind me and it's backlit. But if I turn the other way, then you're going to see my entire home into my house. And I'm just not for that yet. Yeah, I know, Lamb Chop. I mean, age is really just a number in itself, right? But there becomes a point where your maturity level changes. And there's things with Katie that I just, you know, I mean, it's like, you know, she's sitting here. It's like, does she not even get out in the? She didn't get out in the real world. I mean, clearly, you didn't think that Veda could turn around and file a restraining order against you. You did. She really didn't. Like, you've got to get out of your basement. You've got to get out. You've got to get out. Let some sun on your face. Get out. The only time she's been out is when she went to go meet with the FBI and the local law enforcement, which she did. Okay, so I don't know why I did air quotes, but that's the only time she got out of the house. You're going to show up. Who am I speaking to there? Like, who are you to? Who are you pretending to be there? You better not, Luke. Show us your home. Maybe one day I'll give you a tour. It's huge. It's huge. I live in a mansion. House is 100 years old. And it is 100 years old. And it's a small little farmhouse. And I love it. We came in and gutted it all and redid it. It's always something, though. But yeah, so next week I'm going to hop off of here, but next week, obviously Thanksgiving for those of you that celebrate it here in the US. But last year I said, okay, I'm going to get a 20-pound turkey because I just wanted, usually we do like, you know, 16, then creeps up to 18. So last year I did a 20-pound turkey and I did it by curbside. And so in curbside, you can you could choose the size turkey that you want. Like they have it like in a group, like 15 to 20, like 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20, 25, something like that. And so this time around, I said, okay, let's just get the same size turkeys we did last year. So I made a note for my shopper. I said, yep, because I had to do 20 to 25, I think it was. And I'm like, please pick a 20 to 21 pound turkey. What do you think I got? I get home. I wasn't paying attention when they were loading shit up. And I get home and I'm like, what the hell? 26 pounds, y'all. Is that even possible? I mean, I know it's possible, clearly, because I haven't. Like, to cook it. What's going to happen? 26 pound turkey, y'all. 26. It's huge. My husband opened one of the freezers and he was like, oh my God, that's huge. It takes I was like, I know. He said, that's a big bird. So I set it out today to start thawing. It's Friday. Thanksgiving's Thursday. I have to have it thawed out by Wednesday so I can brine it. Anyways, yeah. So it's going to be a busy week because I host here and then I start prepping, usually on Mondays, but I have to go into the city on Monday, the big city on Monday, and then start on Tuesday. But if anybody has any tips for cooking a 26 pound turkey, please let me know. Yeah, I do think 7M, Michelle, I think you're right. I mean, it will ruin her reputation some, right? Sally, we don't really. We have big eaters. But I like to send them all home with like a full meal. And so I always feel like I don't have enough leftovers. So maybe that's it. I am so happy you made it too. I'm so happy everybody made it in here today. I've seen some people today that turkey on steroids, I'm telling you. People in here today that I haven't seen in a while or don't know that I'm going live. So I'm so grateful that people caught me and were able to join. And again, yes, Michelle, I think that this is going to hurt Katie Joy's reputation some, but people recover from that. You know what I mean? But what we have to recognize is for those of us is that maybe this will, I can't even say that with a straight face. Maybe this will change her behaviors and she'll like stop doing stupid shit. No, but it will affect her financially. If it goes to trial, that bill's going to be huge. If she loses, that bill's going to be huge. So, I mean, either way, but she could win in summary judgment. You never know. I don't see that happening. I don't. It could go to trial, and then Joy gets up on the stand. Can you imagine being a juror and Katie being up on the stand? What did you're so rich. We're all so rich. And that's the thing is like we all consider ourselves rich. That's the thing is like, what is wealth really when it comes down to it? I think that's the thing with Katie. Like she wants to go on and on. And I think it's always about my goats are out there. If Katie and Charlie's still in here, I'm like, oh, there goes one. Our pens were completely destroyed. We had a tornado hit the house, and then we had a hurricane. And our pens are down, so our goats are out. And if anybody knows anything about goats, they eat everything. So I have 0 flowers, 0 nothing. It looks terrible out there, and they're just walking around. I actually did get a roaster, an electric roaster for it. And I talked to somebody that said they've always done it that way. They're like, but never 26 pound. I was like, I haven't talked to anybody that's cooked a 26 pound turkey in an oven or whatever. I can afford 2 Bentleys. Remember that? And then she went out and bought a BMW. So she could be, oh God. Anyways, so Charlotte is going live in 5 minutes. She is going to be, if I have any mods still in here, if you wouldn't mind posting her link again. Charlotte is going live on YouTube and on Rumble in 5 minutes. I can afford 2 beers, Lulu B says. Who needs a Bentley? Thank you, Michelle, for being here. And here's the thing is I enjoy you'll see, I don't talk about Michelle. Where did that come from? Whoa. I don't talk about Katie. Oh, because your name's Michelle. I don't talk about Katie Joy's other shenanigans when it comes to certain things. I mean, I might like poke at it, but I definitely like to break this lawsuit, to talk about it, break it down the best that I can. Anybody else can do it too. We all of us could talk about our lawsuit. The more, the better, right? Yes, you'll see me in Charlotte's chat. You are welcome, Shauna. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Michelle. Everybody, thank you so much for joining. And let's all go over and give Charlotte some support, of course, like we always do. And then after that, Flava is going live. I want to say she said around 5 or 5:30. Anybody in here, do you know if Flava's going to be on Rumble or YouTube? Thank you, Tea Party. There's a lot more too. And I really will, I really want to look at doing a live regarding Discovery and all that. So yeah, I don't know when Flava's I don't know if Flava's going live on Rumble or YouTube. YouTube, Shauna says YouTube. And then Charlotte is going to be live in just a couple minutes on YouTube. So, all righty. Thanks, Blake. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you after Thanksgiving. There's no way I'll be able to go live before then. I will see you after that, but I'll see you in chats for sure because I'm always in my people's chats. You guys have a great day. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you so much.